Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Stallion's response. This is my response to the Stallion's response to John Marcus' response to the Stallion's video, Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler, Atheists or Theists. And this is his video, Real Christians versus Fake Christians, my response to John Marcus. So this is a response. Get the points? So if you want to respond to this, it might be another response and people might get confused, but that's alright.
He's sitting there watching this woman, and then he intentionally gets the man that she was with originally killed. And then what does God do? God kills this firstborn child, but still allows King David to marry this woman, to hook up with her, be able to have relations with her, sexual intercourse. Now, the man is fucking dead in the ground. He's got worms and maggots all over him. He was fighting for King David's cause. He was doing for what he believed God wanted him to do.
Okay, I get your point, and it's really good, and this is where, I'm glad this Stallion guy, really, you have to appreciate his mind. He's been blessed with a really good mind about thinking things through that a lot of people might otherwise gloss over, and so I really respect that about you. Now, first off, when we look at things at a superficial way on the surface, the disciples were brutally killed for what they believed in. The Israeli went through 2 Holocausts, were slaves in Egypt. To follow God, and I'll quote Star Wars, "It is not an easy life, but it's a fulfilling one." And so, actually, I don't even know if that was Star Wars, but whatever. It's not an easy life to follow after God, like in my last video, and I would have to agree with Venom that it's a lot easier to be an atheist. However, in the end, the great redeemer of things, God, it's not easier. That the Bible teaches that the suffering we endure this world will seem so minuscule compared to eternity, and that so small that we will think, geez, I wish I could relive that. I would have been happy to suffer compared to what I can receive now. I believe David will be punished. There's a lot of Christians that think, well, when you go to heaven, it'll just be so great and everything is washed away. Yes, I believe when you accept Jesus, your past sins were washed away. But when you now accept Him and you turn to Him and you mess up, you'll be punished for those sins you messed up under allowing yourself to be taken under the control of God, because now He's your Father, and the Father loves to rebuke and punish those He loves, because it is an important thing to be taught that what we did was wrong and why it's wrong, just as a loving father is the one who punishes their child when they do wrong, and the unloving father is the one that lets it slip by and doesn't do anything. Now, we also see from the teachings of Christ that those who obey God will be beaten with fewer stripes, and those who disobey the Master will be beaten with many stripes. As this parable he gives illustrates that those who follow Him will have to give an account for what they did wrong and why they did wrong after they receive their salvation. Now, I would stress also that we see this in the fact that some people are immediately with God when they die, the ones who are very pure and seek after God's own heart. Others wait in the grave until Judgment Day and then are resurrected. And of course, the ones who are immediately with God will be with that resurrected body, however that's worked out. And then we have the people that wait until after the 1,000 years are up, who are sort of didn't really quite make it. So we see that there are different levels, and there are even people with crowns, but then again they give their crowns to Christ. So what does that say? That we're not, none of us are important in heaven except God, and we're all equal as children. But anyways, we see that he will get his just punishment. So don't worry. And I see a lot of atheists lack a discerning of things. Like, you forget that David had a brutal upbringing and went through many wars and atrocities because we live in a fallen, evil world, because mankind has chosen willfully, given the permission of free will we have, so God doesn't violate our will, to rebel against God or choose to accept him and love him. And so perhaps if he didn't get this wife that he wanted, he would have gone mentally sane, that she was what kept him together and the only thing that could have kept him together mentally, and that he would have just went on a rampage and it would have been worse off. So that in God allowing and permitting this, greater good then came out of it.
How did that guy get rewarded? A man of God basically fucked him over and screwed him.
He will be rewarded in the end, and we don't look at the superficiality of things, because how far do you want us to take it? Should we say, well, God shouldn't give us the right to murder somebody. He should kill people before they murder somebody or stop them. Well, then he violates our free will, and then we can't choose to love or not. Well, how far do you want to go? That he stops evil thoughts from happening. Then he's controlling our thought life, and we can't even think about loving somebody or not. So, really, he permits it because it's the only way he could permit also loving relationships and goodness and kindness. But those who do evil will be responsible for going against their own conscience that God has instilled in their hearts and minds from the time that they were children.
To the point where that guy got killed. And God's going to reward King David with this man's woman. King David was a sick and disgusting murderer and rapist of the Bible.
When he did that, I would have to agree with you. Yes, he was. And the Bible completely condones and condemns that kind of the Bible completely condemns that kind of action. It prohibits it and teaches about God dealing with that because it was wrong.
John Marcus. If I were to see